And salutations, Ben here, and welcome to the Sunday Night hanging right here on Sundays. And tonight is a special Father's Day special show thing. It's been in the works literally for years. The backup for if and when my father couldn't yak for a couple hours, which my father's been known to yak for a couple hours, that Doug would take over the role as the father of Father's Day. So, fortunately, we've been able to get him during his all-star weekend out on the Rock.
Live on location.
Right? For the first time on this channel. Not the first time that you've been on live on location, though.
No, and I thought, you know what? Why not come on here today? Because 9 hours on YouTube today has not been enough.
Not enough. No.
Not enough.
Nope. Awesome.
And you know how messed up I am? I've just noticed that I've plugged in my regular camera.
Yeah.
And I'm using the one from the Chromebook.
He's a Coombs.
So that's probably it's got a shitty mic. Oh, well, it started all day, right? Because last night we I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland, where we all kind of started the family.
Yep.
So we may have hit George Street last night, as you've already talked to. That I had a lot of check-ins last night. You
did, and then once I got the rest of the story off air, I went, that experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
The rest of the family is in America right now.
Uh-huh.
As they would say down here. And so, I got to, and in typical, did I freeze up?
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were in deep thought. Yes, you froze up.
No. So, hotel Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Just like home.
Yep. Just like home. But, so in true Coombs fashion, Newfoundland fashion. So I head out to get something to eat last night before I did the pub crawl, and I hit up a bar here in St. John's, just down from my hotel, called the Whiskey Barrel, and happened to be buddy in there playing some tunes. And as I sit and stop, he stops mid song to say, "Hey, you're wearing an ACL hoodie. Do you know this person and this person?" Well, yes, I do. And he's like, "Oh, cool. And you look familiar too." So he happens to watch the Down and Back podcast as well. So Buddy playing music made me kind of famous. And then he just continued playing music.
Did you happen to mention that you had a cousin that played music?
Yeah, kind of. A couple beers deep at the time.
May have. Okay, because as I know, as a Coombs, we can get braggy about our family or completely forget.
Yeah, well,
it's one or the other.
Last night was the night, I'll tell you. So so start off the Whiskey Barrel, then sauntered all down Duckworth Street, nice. Which, when you are half cut, you have not had the chance to be here. No. When you're half cut and in St. John's,
yep,
the hills are a bitch. I tell you that.
I don't like hills when I'm sober.
Well, true, yeah.
So I can only imagine.
Sauntered down Duckworth Street, and for any of you fans of the CBC, I had to hike down the street, the stairs in one of the joints, and hit the Duke of Duckworth, which, if anyone fans of CBC, Republic of Doyle. And then I had to help explain to the American couple that was beside me that the scene was not actually, the show was not actually shot in the bar. Because, did I freeze up again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're back.
So the show was not shot in the bar itself because there's probably enough room in the bar for about 3.5 tables. And a bar, so there was a movie lot that they shot it on, but looked kind of almost the same.
Nice.
But so so that was that, and then then I did the old 2-step down to the O'Reilly's, because it's doing 2 steps this way, 2 steps that way. Then sat for some memories, I guess you could say. The rest of our crew in our private party was down below, and I stood up where the music was. So,
gotcha.
Yeah,
of course.
That was my light last night, and then today I sat, like I said, about 8 or 9 hours on YouTube doing live feeds for cornhole, and and then left there, came here, and then was like, oh crap, I've now got to unpack all of my gear that I packed because I had to take a plane here. I'm doing a lot of talking, but I never talked this much on this show because I had to take a plane here and had to pack all of my live feed gear, all 5 cameras, five those tripods. That's what I'm thinking. Tripods. Yeah, that'd be it. The 2 laptops, all the extension stuff. It's all packed in my suitcase. So with my clothes. So I had to then unpack all of that crap to have all of this here. And then not even use half the damn shit.
Right.
Forgetting. And then so this morning head to the venue, get all my stuff done for the live feed. I did the first game, and all of a sudden everything went black. Because apparently you need to plug in your laptop. Is a really good thing when you have a whole bunch of stuff running off that power.
Yep.
So,
all right. So we're 8.5 minutes in. Should we say hey to everybody in the chat? I know you're not used to having a live crowd actually watching you. I'm just saying,
or any type of crowd watching me. But
we got a crowd. We got a crowd.
I may even have some friends coming in the chat too. I've kind of told some people. Well, so they may come in, and he is right there.
I've seen people, is what I'm saying. We got Dave Chase in the chat. We've got Patrick Traits. We got Charles 75N. Thank you, Charles. I was on his show 8 hours ago myself. So, I'm doing double duty too. Not as much, but I am. Who else? Paul McNary and the Cats. Ryan Hall. Good to see you. We got Lee in here. Richard Nagamitsu. Dave Chase again. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? John Landino. Billy Baloney. Joe Hervey 84. Terry's 3Gs. Ben Allmark. He's from down the road. Kingston.
Your road or my road?
My road. Not your
Okay.
road. Hip Metalworks is here. And Symmetry. Awesome. Here's our BC contingent. Perfect. BC Rich 581. Martian Murray. Nice. Sassy Cat. The voice of Cornhole.
My friend, my single friend that is here to watch.
Well, he actually says, love me some Ben Coombs. So I don't know.
He has been on this show as well.
He has. An alumni.
Yes.
Who else do we have in here? Gear Junkie 35 is here. Awesome. Sassy Cat again. Tim Thomas. DJ Play Nice. Music Therapy Laz. What's up, Laz? You got JP Page 2. Doug Strong in here. Awesome. He's from your way. Kinda. Hamilton. It's kinda. Closer to you than me. That's what I'm saying.
Fucking idiots.
Who else do we have in here? That's everybody. Guitar Man 45. T. Ricky. Nice.
Seen that great is a greater it already popped up. Greater 1952. He's saying across the lake. LOL. Is it your lake or the ocean that's behind me?
No, my lake. He's across the lake from me.
Well, for anyone right now,
area, we'll say
you are across the ocean for me.
Yes. Yeah. Doug is like 1.5. He's 2 time zones, but only an hour and a half ahead.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm on almost the most easterly point of the continent.
Pretty much.
I could probably spit on someone from Greenland too, but
Yeah. Got OU812 here. Great to see it. Absolute Mayhem made it. Zach H. What's up, Zach? I think we're about caught up. I am. Yes, above the voice of Cornhole. And east. Northeast. Yeah. Rich is like, what, an hour and a half ahead? Yes.
Yeah.
Newfoundland has their own time zone.
Yes.
Only a half hour ahead of
Oh,
Atlantic.
shit. Wait a second. I can check the cord out from the Chromebook there.
Uh-oh.
What the fuck am I got myself into here now?
We're going to lose power and bandwidth. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, like I said.
Cleared up for a moment. It is what it is. It's because everyone's using the bandwidth up at the hotel.
Probably.
It's the metric calendar, BC Rich says. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know why Newfoundland decided to do that. It's the same reason they decided to wait till after World War II to join Canada.
Sure. Yeah.
Because they got sick of explaining. They're like, so what are you? Are you a part of England? Well, kind of. Are you your own sovereign nation? Well, kind of. What? Like, we're a thing. What's up, Daryl? Symmetry asks, is there a hot tub?
Not unless I fill the bathtub up with hot water.
And eat a lot of Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Then he's got the whirlpool action.
Yes, I do. Although this is an older hotel, so it says I'm in the Sheraton Hotel Newfoundland, and it is again one of those hotels that the shower head is about there on me. So, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, know that feeling. That sucks.
Yeah, basically, that's actually right. That light right there is not outside. It's actually right there. There's a window right there.
Yeah. Richard thinks Canadians are the greatest. I blame lifestyle choices on that, Richard. I'm just saying. He is from the Charlotte area, so.
Yeah, that's the other thing that some people are now deciding that they are not going to go anywhere that I'm taking a plane. Because the moment I take a plane somewhere, it becomes like, for you Americans, 55 and rain.
Oh, so that's what that. Well, yeah, but that's good weather for this time of year for Newfoundland.
Oh, yeah.
It's not snow.
No.
Boner Jams. What's up, my friend? Mason
Although
Douglas?
it did snow here last week.
There we go. Nice. No, we're not doing a community hot tub, Joe. That's just no.
Yeah. Well, my head actually does look like someone in the window there too.
There you go. Now you don't have the room echo either. Now your audio's like also enclosed mic setup for a sec.
Yeah.
Hey, Blue Sky. Scott Brockway. Scott Brockway will be coming on next week. He's next week's guest. We're going to be talking all about all kinds of stuff next week. Can't tell you what it is, otherwise you won't tune in. Dean Hostetter says, please come here and bring some rain. We're dry as a bone. Where are you, Dean? That's a good question, Richard. When is the next Water Buffalo meeting? I don't know. Possibly this coming Saturday. No. Well, no. That wouldn't be fair to Fruitcake Tony because I'm on his show later that night. And if I'm hanging out with you crazy water buffaloes all afternoon, I might not be in the best of shape to be an expert guest. Well, a guest. I don't know about the expert factor. What's up, Ed? Welcome. Virginia. Oh, okay. Doug loves Virginia. Thanks, Doug. Yeah.
Notice which finger I used. The one to the left.
Marshall Murray wants snow in Texas. Do you, though?
Oh,
Do you?
yeah.
So it hurts to walk barefooted in the yard. And the fact that he says barefooted shows that he's from Virginia.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'm not making fun of you. That's just an observation.
Although I do have a lot of good cornhole friends that are in Virginia as well.
What's up, Mark's gas station? Symmetry needs more Caesar. He says, be right back. I almost had a Caesar last night, in fact. Because, I too had a night out, if as it were. For the first time in years, I actually went out to a concert.
Oh, one of my friends that is watching will be very jealous when you say what concert you were at.
Oh, okay. Well, I get it.
That
So, of course, Doug, we've always kind of thought of Stuart Cameron as family, and
yep.
Well, yeah, because reached out, I said, hey, a while back, say, hey, I see you're in town on this date. We should meet up. He said, cool. Do you want tickets? I'm like, well, I don't care. I just like to meet up. We're friends. So I don't hear back until yesterday afternoon at 4:30. Hey, I don't have time to meet up. I can't do that, but hey, I put you on the guest list with a +1. Show starts in 3 hours. Plenty of lead time to
Tinder.
I got tickets. So I invited my sister along because I figured, she could use a night out.
That wasn't a Tinder, by the way.
No. So, and so we showed up, and it's like, yeah, apparently Stuart left me some tickets. I was first of the list on the guest list, Doug. I'm just saying. I saw the guest list. I was top of the list. Now, I'm not saying it was in alphabetical order, but I was at top of the list.
Amanda just confirmed that no, it wasn't a Tinder.
Yeah, up, sis. And Zach Thong in the house. The local contingent just expanded considerably. So, yeah, we had a great old time. And so, saw a great act out of Halifax, Doug.
Okay.
Willie Stratton. Hell of a guitar player. A 50s crooner type, if you will, but did kind of surf rock. So it'd be like Elvis meets the Beach Boys or Dick Dale kind of thing. Like, it was really cool. It was good. It was good is what I'm saying. It was really good.
Just side topic. Speaking of surf rock, I believe I have a Live Nude Surfers t-shirt coming for you.
Sweet.
That just popped into my head.
Awesome.
Just my red.
So, yeah, Willie had a great set. Then, I went outside during the intermission to celebrate lifestyle choices. And so I ran into him outside. And we ended up later inside doing a short little video, which is part of the vlog that I got uploaded. I don't know if the vlog from last night is going to make it through copyright or not, because I shot a lot of clips of the show, So, which then we saw the main attraction, which is our friend Stuart playing with Crash Test Dummies. So I got a few, because you have to get some, I got to film that. And Superman, we got to hear him sing Rhyme Solomon Grundy, because it's the only time it ever happened in popular music that Solomon Grundy gets rhymed. So,
quick thing for Blue Sky, Halifax is not in Cape Breton.
No. So, no. Well, yes, as an imported act, but Cape Bretoners don't really care for Halifax people because they're mainlanders. But there is some graphites headed out. See ya, Doug.
Huh?
You okay?
Oh yeah, no. I just happened to see a possible Father's Day gift that I'll be getting. So to go with my Old Smoky mango habanero and peanut butter whiskey, I could be getting some cookie dough whiskey, as well as some sort of. Ooh, maybe not. Probably. Yeah, some blackberry lemonade moonshine cocktail and Mountain Mule moonshine cocktail.
Okay.
Maybe not. I said yes prematurely.
Well, that's clogged. That's lovely. So, but we should say, Stuart, who's playing with Crash Test Dummies, basically, he grew up playing with his father, John Allen Cameron, and then broke away from the traditional music by being one of the kitchen devils for Ashley McIsaac, which is really just a slightly lateral move, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really a huge breakaway there, Doug. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Which I did see Stuart as one of the kitchen devils. Lulu's in Kitchener.
I missed that venue. Not that I'd ever been there, but miss venues of that size, that in-between size.
Yeah.
So Blue Sky says, just recall some great fiddle players from Halifax back in the 80s. I bet. What's up, Fruitcake Tony? And for those who missed it earlier, I'm going to be on Fruitcake Tony's channel this coming Saturday. I don't know if it's been announced the subject matter yet, but I'm not saying it because I don't think it's public yet. But I'm going to be on there, is what I'm saying.
Oh, so just to tie into my time on the show, to go back to my story earlier. Buddy was playing a guitar at the Whiskey Barrel. Some other dude was a guitar player. They started talking, and I just kind of, like I do in this show, just observe.
Right.
He was using some sort of Taylor acoustic.
Right.
That was very, very expensive.
They can be.
Yeah.
Yep. I played one once made out of all Koa. I think it was normally 14 grand on sale for half price. I was like, do you know how many cars you can buy for 7 grand?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. That's like a decent car and 2 spares for parts.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Nick KB? So, yeah, Crash Test Dummy, really good, Doug. Like, I had a much better time than I thought. Like, we know a handful of hits, but it was like they had enough hits, as we call them, or notable songs, we'll say, that every third song you're like, oh yeah, I know this one. So you're okay with the other 2 type thing.
Yeah.
And the great line of the night too. You love. They did one song. They finished up and they said that song was off our last album, which came out 13 years ago. It's like,
There's actually a question for me from Absolute Mayhem there.
okay, what is your best road trip albums?
Well, I know one is not Road Apples. No. I think probably what you probably listened to them as well too. The for me it's the Eric Church Live.
Okay. Yeah, I believe you have played it for me.
Yep. Yep.
Which I could listen to, folks, because, well, his backing band were playing Les Pauls through Marshalls. So I'm like, I'm hearing Skinnerd with a nasally voice dude. That's all I hear, you know. So I was okay with it.
Yep. Yeah, and then most of the other ones were just played when he was asleep.
Reporting in, Donald Fisher says, Ashley McIsaac's playing at the July 1st celebration in Pugwash, Nova Scotia, coming up. Doug, I am not surprised.
I believe Pugwash is on the mainland, though, is it not?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Yes, okay, yes, yeah, we're not surprised, yes.
You can never go wrong with a Skinnerd album for a road trip.
That Hammer song, that Tool song.
Oof, to me, that could be. Do
we need to revisit that story on this show?
Versions of. All right, yeah, we Mazel. So
yeah. So the one night I
that was one of our first years.
Yes,
going down south too, was it? Like
mistakenly let you control the satellite radio.
Well, he who drove got to choose his own soundtrack.
I think I was driving at the time.
But you started putting on just bullshit. I'm like, no, we're not. Because you're like, I'm putting on new country. I'm like, you don't even like this stuff. You're just putting it on out of spite. I know you don't even like this shit.
Well, let's continue this story, how that shit went along.
Yeah. Well, and so you started flipping around out of spite, and you're like, what was it? You put on classic country.
Yes.
Thinking that'll get a rise out of me. And I'm like, I don't mind classic country 50-50. You know, like, I can handle some Patsy Cline. I don't like the early George Jones stuff. But what do we got? Isn't that where we got the Carter family?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Doing If I Were a Carpenter.
Yes.
All right. So Doug's like, I know you, like your father, do not care for the Man in Black. I'm like, I do not. So he puts on, it was like all Cash all the time. And there's Johnny Cash doing his version of If I Were a Carpenter. Now, granted, we were allowing upwards of 10 minutes of airplay between station flips. Like, it wasn't constant. But, so, then what was it? Oh, I think what I was driving, so I put on a classic rock station. There's fucking Robert Plant's cover of it. What the fuck? And then
despite
finding versions we didn't even know about.
Like, we were on like the Bluegrass channel.
Yep.
And
there's a Bluegrass because you just started laughing. You're like, how?
Yeah, because it was like Cousin Ed and his.
I was like, your wife is real.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Donald Fisher also comments, Doug, that John Allen Cameron played Pugwash July 1st years ago. Well, it would be years ago. He passed away a few years ago. Wonderful show he put on. Awesome. So I'm starting to think, Doug, that Donald Fisher might be from the greater Pugwash area, if you will, because he seems to really have his finger on the pulse of at least the Canada Day celebration. Maybe he comes into town every Canada Day, so he knows. You know, we don't know. I'm just noticing that, and I'm like, I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah.
What's up, Ferd Burfel? And Michael Krause. Oh, I got the coughs.
No.
This is my throat and stuff was worn out from last night.
Although, you know what, Joe, I do have to admit, I'm not, as you know, I'm not usually a big beer guy.
He's like, do you think? That was Donald's response. I'm just assuming.
Could have been for that too. But anyway, so I did the we'll say BL, so we don't offend anyone.
Mm-hmm.
At the barrel, at the whiskey barrel. Then, being in the Duke, had to do something in Newfoundland, so I did the Black Horse pint. Oof. Wasn't actually too bad.
Okay.
And then I did the bottles of Black Horse at O'Reilly's, and woke up not feeling too bad. I didn't have the hangover, nothing.
Nice. It's all that fresh salt air.
Yeah. Or the reason you have a cornhole podcast is because you go to the bar, spend 4 hours there, your bar tab is $24 because everyone else
yep.
is here you go.
Exactly. I had a pint myself last night for the first time, well, this year.
Well, there goes that, doesn't it? That's all shot to hell.
Well, I did not care. You know, I wasn't.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah. It was, my sister, we got there. I looked, and my choices were Molson Canadian, Coors Light, or Heineken.
Well, I'd be on the water diet there.
Yeah, I did. I decided to dodge 2 bullets. I took the silver one. You know, I was just oofda.
Although I did have a laugh because Friday night we got screeched in here, and I'm going and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do it just because.
How did someone who's been there before still get screeched in?
Because I wasn't screeched in before, because I just thought, we got enough roots here that we there was not a need, but just the weekend and just I just felt like little closer to family, kind of doing that there. So
sure. Plus, you're letting loose a little or a lot.
Well, I was a little hungry, and they had bologna, so
Hey.
it's
There we go.
And
Blue Sky says, "Do Canadians hate Molson?" Not all Canadians.
No, just the two that are sitting here.
Oof. Symmetry's paid $25 for two tall Stellas. There we go. At April Wine on Friday night.
Wow.
And we only paid like $7 for a tall boy. Hey, Mark.
So like I said, I was hungry, so they had the bologna there, and the guy that was doing the screeching he was freaking fantastic. None of the other people from Ontario could understand a word he said, but I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about because
we've had conversations with Uncle Kenny,
yeah.
Which is basically Newfoundland adjacent, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So the other people also had to be told that they had to remove the wax from the bologna. But so then I got to have we did the shot of screech as well, and everyone else is like choking and gagging, and I'm like when we do our moonshine, I let it simmer, right? And I'm like, because if you talk, we go back to Father's Day. If you talk to our fathers, the screech that they have now,
it's nothing like the screech then, because the screech now is just rum.
Yeah, it's not the swill that they had there.
But it's like instead of being 40%, it's 45%, maybe 50, whereas screech back in the day was the homebrew, so it's like it's a 5%.
Yeah, because if you were to talk to our fathers, especially my father used to talk about it. It used to be called the old block and tackle, because you could walk a block and tackle anyway after having it, right? So it's
exactly.
But yeah, so it's.
My niece heard ask, "What actually is moonshine?" Well, the most common moonshine is corn-based whiskey.
Yes,
that's the most common.
I just looked. I had to make sure that right there. I thought that could have been the moon, but no, it's that light over there.
There we go.
Just the reflection of the glass.
Yeah. Doug and I have a varied history with alcohol due to various travels and our upbringing.
I'm going to put this here down because it keeps making me think that there actually is somebody behind me, but it's just a camera.
You could just close the curtains.
Yeah, I could do that too. But yeah, it's actually the shadow of my head plus the camera. It just made it look like someone's head above me. Not that I'm paranoid in a hotel alone, but.
So what if you just use cane sugar, not corn sugar? Well, if you use cane sugar, that's rum.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar cane distilled is basically rum.
Yeah, it's like I said, I talked about that couple from Nebraska that was beside me there. They first they said, they thought they were asking a local about one of the drinks. And I was like, well, I'm Ontario. But it was they wanted to know about a spicy Caesar. What's a spicy Caesar? I was like, well, you take a Bloody Mary.
Like it's a Caesar, but spicier.
Exactly. Yeah. Take a Bloody Mary, whatever the red shit you put in, put clamato juice in instead.
Yeah, instead tomato.
Yeah, and then you have like the spice, whatever you put in there.
Yeah, and then spice it to taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the thing is putting in the spicy beans or a spicy celery or spicy beans in the. I'm like, fuck off with your spicy bean bullshit. just fucking make the Caesar, put a chunk of celery in it, so I feel like I'm being somewhat healthy. I'll look at it. I may not eat it. I'll look at it. And
yeah,
Tabasco, salt, pepper, done.
Yeah.
Although I was confident because they had the tall boys of the Caesars in the tall boy can. Ooh, like I could get, but that I'm like tonight could get sloppy. If I have one of those, chances are I'm going to want to have 4, and then we have a problem getting home.
Yes.
And I forgot earplugs. Dumbass.
Yeah.
That was bad. Very bad.
Well, some of the people I had to deal with this weekend at Cornhole, I wish I had earplugs too. But it's
Blue Sky says, okay, I'm clear on Cape Breton now. Won't make that mistake again. McMaster is who I was thinking of. Okay.
Will that have been Buddy?
McMaster, I go, wasn't he from Hamilton?
No, that's the university. Yeah, so. Donnie, I'll listen to you. You could have been my security though. Because why is it when you're sitting doing a live feed something, someone wants to come in and squeeze in beside you and just to sit and watch, and it's like you are sitting on the fucking cords. You do that, there's a camera going to be going on. I mean, it was. I did have to
Natalie McMaster. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Well, Buddy is her uncle. Yeah, I did have to run. One of the idiots went and do it by a little too far, and it actually separated my cord from the extension, the 100-foot extension I have on it. So I had like my one camera just. I'm like, why is there bags sitting on the board when they're playing still? So I had to like during play go in behind the curtain and try and freaking put her all together again.
Oh, and I should mention, so we've got Mark in the chat. He was over yesterday, and we played cornhole, and we played 5 games. He won the first 2, and then I won the next 3, wow. Equaling the 3 I've beaten him the last 2+ years I've owned the boards. Is what I'm saying, because I've only beaten him. Usually beat him once a year, so I'm on a streak of 3 in a row right now, and I'm quite proud of it. So he wants a rematch this week. I know. Yeah, he's like, there you go. He just mentioned it. It's the difference of the chat being delayed.
See that you free like people in the chat, just kind of let us talk for a second. You free this weekend coming up?
Maybe. What's up? I got okay Tony's thing on Saturday night.
Okay, well, you want to hike down to Toronto for like an afternoon or something?
No. That's a little far.
Yeah, I think you should hike down to Toronto for like an afternoon or something. Oh, I will be there.
My niece says I'm always free.
Yeah, no. I have got I got some shit for you. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So I will be in Toronto for. This is my lovely stretch. I was in North Carolina, home for like a week and a half. Come here for a week. Then I'm going to go home for 2 days. Go to Toronto for hockey. Come home for 5 days. Head to Detroit for a day. Come home. Be home for 3 weeks, then head back down to South Carolina for 8 days. Yes.
And I recall while you've briefly been home, you still managed to get in some camping while at home too.
Yes.
So you're not even really home.
No.
You're home adjacent. You're kind of.
And even the other weekend, so the long week, the July 1st weekend, I'll be in Blythe, Ontario camping on the Friday, leaving 2:00 Saturday morning to go to Detroit for a night. Coming back to finish camping.
There you go. Just international man of mystery. Well,
more just a mystery. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just to touch. When are you getting back? Tomorrow?
No, Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay.
Tuesday.
So probably no show Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because
it was an off weekend. So. I'll just say it now. So, NASCAR, Darko weekend, right?
Yes.
IndyCar, let's just put the race on Peacock, not actually show it on TV. Look. You have wide open, just the Canadian Grand Prix, which apparently, yeah, according to our conversation a couple weeks ago, apparently it's back, and it was this weekend.
Donnie, the answer to that question is air.
What's up, Rob 212? Oh, yes, and tomorrow night I will be showing off my new guitar. So tune in tomorrow night to see the new guitar. We got 57 people watching. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already, please. It helps. Algorithms, silicon chips, and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, Eddie Van Haskell showed up because somebody hit the thumbs up.
Probably, yeah.
Guitar Man 40 says, 5 says, I missed the Grand Prix. I forgot to check out the track. That was one thing, Grand Prix weekend. So many supercars up and down the highway. Speaking of which, apparently my Uncle Lang spent some time at Mosport, Doug, driving an 800 horsepower Lambo around the track. He enjoyed it. Said it was peppy. It's like, really? Yeah, 800 horsepower Lambo. Must be nice. Must be nice to have that kind of friends that invite you along for something. Hey, you want to go check this out? Sure, mazel.
Yeah, have those friends. Wow, I did not think we would make it this long.
No?
Well, with our talks before, like our pre-conversation, we both said we weren't sure just exactly how this was going to go, just because of the circumstances that's surrounding.
Well, first of all, I didn't know you were alone on the road trip, so I thought, well, I'll sneak them for what we can do, and then you're like, yeah, I can go. All right.
No, I'm
all right. See you, sis.
See, I'm thinking of maybe since it is the 10:15 here, I may maybe I'll saunter down George Street, see what's going on down there tonight.
Oh, while live or
no, just once we're done here.
That
makes me walking down the street with a freaking Chromebook. Yeah, that's gonna.
You could switch to your phone. You know, you can jump out and jump on it on your phone. You could do that. I'm not saying it would go well.
No.
First of all, most of the audience will be like, "Are those people speaking English around them?" Yes. Kind of.
Yeah, and I was told that this morning. I was told. I'm getting cornhole messages, and as Donnie will know when I say, "Oh, look, Todd messaged me," that's a pretty big deal for me. I was told this morning that someone witnessed me walking up the 500 freaking steps to get from the bottom of George Street to the top of Duckworth Street. And they said it was pretty entertaining last night.
No doubt. I wouldn't do it. I'd Uber that shit. I ain't walking up 500 steps.
Well, 500 steps, and if you were to actually take the steps going like height, but the width-wise of the steps, probably only about 5 feet.
Okay. Maybe.
Because it's kind of like very vertical. I had no idea how drunk people walk down them.
Richard says, I love this time of year when it's still light at 8:45. Oh, yeah. It's like fully light out still. It's not even close to being dark out.
It's fully dark out.
I see that. But you're in the future, so.
I am in the future, yes.
By an hour and a half. Yeah. Just. So did you go check out the track there in the greater St. Isn't the track outside St. John's and around St. John's?
Well, yes. So I actually was asked because there was a guy here. So we've talked about this, possibly getting him on the NASCAR show. So John George, who plays cornhole up here, who knew he was he was on the pit crew for the Jerry Glanville car in the ARCA series way back when. So he wanted to go check out the track. Apparently, they only drag race there at this time of the year.
Well,
So
because there's no snow.
yeah. So they
It's
so
a
we
really
didn't
short season.
And I know I really wasn't in the mood to go to a racetrack on Saturday night. I was like, I want to hit up George Street and kind of see down there. So, but yeah. So no, I didn't get to go to that. But I do have a connection here through
Nice.
cornhole to go.
Doesn't matter how we have the connections. It's just we need to have connections wherever we go. Got to have those connections.
Well, it seems like us as a Coombs family, we are.
We got our fingers dipping into a lot of pies. Is what I'm saying.
We know
cover a lot
someone.
of territory.
Yeah. Richard, not at the moment. Possibly in July, I'll have to fly into my airport in Charlotte. It's Charlotte Douglas.
My airport's the Concord Airport, the little private strip there. That's my airport.
But
I don't use it often.
It's not the Concord Ben Airport like the Charlotte Douglas one is for me. But yeah.
Nice. Ed says I'm drinking Corona at the moment. It's my summer beer. That was my summer beer as well, especially loaded Coronas.
Yep.
I learned after one trip down south, you don't do those at a gig before you have to play. I had a couple loaded Coronas, and then I had to play on stage. Train wreck.
Yeah.
Although, they didn't pay well, so really they got what they paid for. So. Richard says you got a place to hang or stay or jam. Well, the only thing Doug can really play is the radio. So
the only jam I'm doing is on toast.
Ain't that true? Or, since it's the Charlotte, on a biscuit.
On a biscuit. Yep.
Are you related to Doug Coombs, the skier?
No, because I'm still alive.
Yeah.
He is dead. That's what I tell people when they're looking for me online. I'm not the dead skier.
I'm not the dead skier. Yeah.
But we are related to Ernie.
We are related to Ernie. This is true. I don't know if Doug could play kazoo, Terry. I'm just saying. Well, he might. Maybe. If you have the right amount of cold snacks in you.
Yep.
Which would be several.
Last night there probably could have been a chance.
Could have been.
I feel like I have been here for tomorrow will be a week. I feel like I am getting a bit of that. It's the this is the Father's Day show. So,
Right. Yeah. How many times do you ask, what's your father's name?
What's your father's name?
Did you run into any family there while there?
Yes, kind of, yeah. Yeah, I did see a cousin who used to live in Kitchener, who's now moved back here. So you get to meet and see her. I hadn't seen her in about 15 years. So that was good to catch up with her, and it was
nice.
Went to Pop's Diner in Churchill Square over here, but I don't know. Did you notice I had a rant Wednesday morning.
Okay.
And I know you're not going to be in Bay Roberts soon, but just off the highway at the Irving, there's a Tim Hortons. So, went in to go through the drive-thru. I'm seeing cars exit the drive-thru. So I'm going to go to the other side of the building to go around to go through the drive-thru. I go to said other side of the building, there's a frickin' fence.
Okay.
So I then okay, yes, there it says enter drive-thru. That's the exit. So what you have to do is you have to enter the exit, go through a little loop to come back out the exit.
That seems safe.
Yeah. But
Yes,
it's funny
we do
because
have fireflies here.
all my friends that are from here, they're like, we know that Tim Hortons. It's like, fuck.
You don't go there unless you have to. Which you don't have to.
No.
I think I'd rather get any coffee from the Irving gas station than the Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Charles just says no, just no.
But the thing I did realize this morning
Mm.
when I went into Tim Hortons in St. John's, they still have chocolate eclairs at their Tim Hortons here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you get lime crush there too.
You need some?
Yeah, you don't want to fly with that shit.
Why?
I don't think you want to fly with a carbonated can.
You can get it in a bottle.
Do you want to have something carbonated go in to your luggage? Just in case pressure changes.
I got that shit from Jamaica for you at my house that was in a carbonated bottle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was in not Jamaica. What the fuck am I talking about? I was in the Dominican.
What package from Jamaica did you bring me, Doug? Oh, yeah? Also, I'm like, I'm quite interested.
Some shit I found in the camper from like 10 years ago.
I'll turn up someday, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think, and so I was. I think I got a compliment last night, and it's more to do with. I think I did. So, this guy said he really liked my sense of humor was great, and I was like, I got no idea what you mean. But he said it was just because it was dry. But I think it's a Father's Day show, so I think both of our fathers kind of had that.
Yes.
Right. And
yeah,
it's and yeah, because I remember like from being the East Coast there was an Odd Fellows Club. And I still remember when after my father joined it. First time he'd seen your dad, they were actually heading out to west to Edmonton, and I remember.
What's up, Jay?
I remember being in the Toronto airport, and my father telling your father that he's I think he was wearing a coat, and your dad said, "What's that for?" And he said, "It's from the it's from the Odd Fellows." He's like, "Oh, really? I didn't know you were a fellow." So
yeah, that sounds like my father.
Yeah, but it's just and I've kind of felt that here, like just being able to go and talk.
Yeah, much like the way that you and I get along, our fathers got along.
Oh, we're the same. Yeah, and it's we may take things go into stuff a little differently than our fathers. I've mentioned the one big story with my father that was like totally traumatized me as a 14-year-old. But I feel like we're able to go up and just start a conversation with anybody. And
yes.
Zero
fucks given and zero filter when required.
No,
yeah, we don't care. We just do it.
Yeah.
We always learn they're just people, so just walk up and talk to them.
Yeah, which
regardless if they're busy or what.
I think it may have been over a year, 2 years ago since I've said this story on the show. Got to take the day off school when I was about 13, 14 one day, and got to go down to Toronto to pick up Uncle Kenny at the airport.
Oh, beautiful.
And my father and I were waiting there, and there was a group of men came off wearing all of the same stuff, and once our uncle got out, and my dad said, like, who are those guys? We're like, oh no, they get on the plane in Halifax. I've got no idea who they are, and myself going like this, and knowing who the other person who I knew from our town that was picking them up, I knew exactly who they were, what was going on. So my father, being the person of being interested in stuff, he went up to this group of people and said, because they were all wearing red satin jackets with yellow lettering. Are you guys some sort of group or team or band or something? And they said yes, and that was kind of almost it, but I knew myself that he went up and he had just asked Chuck D and the rest of Public Enemy if they were some sort of band or group or something, and I was like, right. Oh my God!
In all fairness, your dad was a fan of teams and groups. Your dad was a big sports fan and a big music fan. So
yeah, just not Public Enemy when they were kind of doing Welcome to the Terror stuff. Right. So it was, it was the 14-year-old me was kind of like, oh shit, like my father's now going up to talk to Chuck D, just saying, hey, how's it going? And
hey,
who the hell are you and why are you talking to me?
Yep. I could just picture that too.
Yeah. But I think, and we've talked, and and you've talked about it before, with your dad and even your mom and that, and it's just always being the people that would think, we don't care what's going on. You're not staying in a hotel. You're going to stay with us.
Yep.
Right. And I'd even ran into that here this week that, people were like, don't get a hotel, come stay with me or whatever. And it's like, you know what? I kind of like, for when I do my cornhole stuff, there may be some idiots that are involved. So I like to be on my own. Right. That I can just, I'll separate from everyone else and just kind of, when I want to go to bed, I don't have that drunken fool knocking on my door at 3:00 in the morning with a bucket of beer saying, let's go play cornhole. I was like, nope. No, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Yes, Donnie, you know there's something, and you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yep.
So, and it's just
because I kind of can understand, because hanging out with musicians, they're really well-adjusted folks.
Yep. I even got to have a conversation about your area as well with a person this weekend.
Oh.
Because they had to go. They were coming from, because they live in Brighton, right? And they're saying how long it takes them to get from certain place to certain place. And I was like, really? Because they were talking about how they had to go from Waterloo, because they came to Waterloo for their daughter's graduation from Brighton, and it took them like 3 hours, because at any time it always takes you 3 hours.
Does not. Well,
that's what I said. I said, well, I actually did it in an hour and a half one time.
I've done it for an hour and a half.
And they were like, they kind of looked at me as if I had like 8 heads. I was like, yeah, it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I knew I passed both cops in Coburg, so I could haul ass the rest of the way. It was like 2 cops on 401 at that point. And they were like, how do you know that? I was like, I know things.
Experience.
Yep. Yeah.
I know. I also made it from Windsor to Trenton in a little over 3 hours. At roughly the same time of day. What's up, Ricky Compton? Michael B. Live?
Yeah, and the one thing I am like totally in love with here. Well, sorry, 2 things. One, you drive on the right side of the road unless you're passing somebody. Then you go in the left lane. It is so nice to be able to do that. Second thing is that people who are just starting to drive, they have signs in the back window that say novice driver.
Nice. What's up, Herb? Bo says he has 2 cornhole boards set up here, along with horseshoe pits.
Well,
nice. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, we'll go for another half hour or so.
Yeah, because I'm also thinking that I had breakfast at like 8:00 this morning, and I haven't eaten since.
You never did eat. I told you to eat.
Yeah.
You're all texting me. You're like, yeah, let's do the show. I'm like, got an hour. Get something to eat.
Yeah, then I happened to mention someone. Then I happened to message someone in the chat, then started a video chat with them, and then it was like, yeah, fuck it. I got like 20 minutes. So,
It happens.
yep.
I enjoyed last night's show. That's for sure.
Which one were you on?
No, going to the concert.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, just the fact you got to go out and have fun, and I didn't run into anyone I know. I think I knew. So I saw, like, I knew the sound guy. Go figure. I knew the sound guy. I knew that I've known the sound guy since the sound guy was a teenager who would talk to my dad for advice about his band when dad was working for the union, to now he's wily veteran sound guy for the area because he's 10 years older than me, give or take, I'd say. So, apparently the voice of Cornhole's headed up this way. Come on up. Herb says, I assume Doug is Ben's brother. Cousin. Close. People think we're brothers.
Especially when we talk about your dad and my dad.
Right. Yeah. This is true. And we often get mixed up for some reason. People can't. I don't understand how they mix us up all the time.
I would, you know what? Do you want to? And this could be bad, could be good either way. I would, if you put us side by side, I'm thinking almost like a Laurel and Hardy vibe.
Kind of.
One of us is not like the other.
Yeah. You're, and like say, with your drier sense of humor, you are more of the straight man, and I'm me. Which is kind of.
I was thinking you're tall and skinny, and I'm kind of fat.
Well, there's that too. Although I'm catching up, I'm working on it. But
yeah.
Hey, I may have put on 30 pounds over the winter. Okay. Oops.
So that means he's up to like 132.
Just under 180. Oh, oops. So we got to, I got to work on that a bit. Jay Santiago says, my third favorite guitarist is Mike Hall from the Killer Dwarfs. Seriously. I've met and hung out with Michael Hall. He's a cool guy. I think he's still in the military. He ends up, he's the leader of the military band for the Canadian, whatever they're called, the Royal Military Band or something. I don't know what they're called, but they're based out of Winnipeg. I know that much. So, I mean, he's always stationed in Winnipeg as a result, which oofta. There's better places to be stationed. I'm not saying Trenton's a fucking gem of Canada, but it ain't fucking Winnipeg in the winter. Nice, Bo. And Herb says, nice to meet you, Doug.
I get you.
And my niece Hurt says, Doug looks like he's lost weight.
When I look in the mirror, it looks like I have like in here, right? But it's the after effects of COVID. Because once, like when I had it, I'm down to like one meal a day. Like really, like I say, I haven't eaten since breakfast, but I'm not fully hungry, really.
Right.
I just know I probably should eat if I'm going to head down to George Street again there.
Oh, okay, Jay. I did not know that. I haven't talked to him in a few years. I was originally from Oshawa. He used to play down here. That's where I met him because a mutual friend owned a place in town that he would play at a couple times a year. If I want to go back on my phone, I'd find a photo of us, but I'm not going back that far. So I want to say that was 10 years ago.
What's that?
Give or take that I ran into Mike Hall.
Oh! I thought you said you and me, and not okay.
No, we started doing road trips, 12 years ago?
Yep.
We were much younger men back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just say, in those road trips, I put a lot of miles on this body during those road trips.
Oh, yeah.
That's why a lot of people joined us once. They're like, "Oh, I don't know if I could do that again."
Yeah, you're kind of right.
I'm just saying.
No, there was one person that would join us multiple times, but
Yeah.
he gone.
Yeah. She gone.
Gone.
And then it was a record year.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. Which was actually, that was probably one of the best trips, because that was when we went for 2 weeks and we had a lot of downtime where we visited all the shops. The next year wasn't too shabby either. Although, different company. Definitely different company.
There was the one year we went down with that one, and we had one other person that just kind of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The previous year, when your wife and son came along, that was probably the best. Yeah. That was probably the best year.
Yeah.
But then because that was the year we stumbled around, like just finding shops, because there was no real database for them.
Yeah.
We found Schrader's shop, and
yep. And you cried while holding his hammer.
That was for holding up his Speed Racer Weekly or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
The newspaper. Voice of Cornhole says best pedal amp guitar setup of any band you saw. That would have to be Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, because they played different guitars every song of the 2-hour show, and they were all classic guitars that are worth way more than all my guitars put together. It was just it was like watching a museum being played on stage.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Bo went on a road trip last week. Nice.
To Cedar Point, which we'll ask now, Voice of Cornwall, will you be in Canton, Ohio, middle of July? I got to see if Meek will pay for me to go, and I will go.
It's kind of nice how that works, eh?
Yeah.
Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Best musical memory with our dads.
Oof. That's a good question. It was such easy, but just growing up around it, like witnessing the business, Doug, for years type thing, not knowing that it lays the foundation for later, because later in life I'm in situations where I'm like, hey, I saw my dad go through this. How did he handle it? I'm like, I don't like this situation. Let's go this way. The invaluable teaching without teaching, just by, that leadership by just doing, essentially. Yeah. I'll say that. Because there wasn't a lot of overlap for us as far as music, like what we both like for music. Like I like a lot of stuff, especially as I get older. I like more of the stuff he likes now. Yeah. But like some of that stuff, no. I couldn't get into classic country until the last 10 years. I just couldn't do it. I could go far back as William Whalen. That's about it.
Yeah. So for me, I think and this is where it kind of, for me, kind of gets. Well, so I grew up. My dad was totally different than your dad. So they were what, like, what are they? 6 years apart, 4 years apart,
4 to 6 in around there. But they were
still,
like, I don't think anybody was born between them, right?
Yeah, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was the two before my dad and Joan, and then the two after.
There you go.
So they had the different tastes and even different thoughts on the past.
Right.
You might say. So like
Laverna?
the
Why
so
not?
for my dad, it was he listened to all traditional Newfoundland music, Cape Breton music. So I
Where
I
my
grew
dad
up on
couldn't
that.
stand. Ironically enough, the musician couldn't stand it.
Yeah. So I kind of grew up that I grew up not liking it, and if you ever get to hear the song by Josh Thompson, we seen him live in Charlotte the 1 year.
Okay.
Song by him is coming around is like totally me, just because it's kind of like, back probably 95, I started to get into it, and that kind of sucks because I only had then 5 years of really kind of getting into it with him before my dad passed.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like last night I was a mess at the bars. I was kind of trying to keep off on my own just because it was all just everything just coming back, right? So
Right.
and I made a post on Facebook for anyone who's friends with me. It's what I take is that from him is just glad that he let me know my roots and where we came from as a family, and really makes me appreciate places like I am now. Like I can go down and it's just it's got meaning for stuff, and it's just that's,
that's the thing, because like those who left the coast, there was two kinds, as my dad would say. There was the ones that had to go back every year, and that was your dad. I gotta touch base. Whereas my dad went, nope.
Yeah.
That I don't want anything to do with it. That's because the only people that call him, they're looking for a favor, a leech, whatever. That's there was nothing for him there, and he just closed that chapter off. Beyond family, that was it, right?
Yeah.
And so totally different upbringings as a result, because I didn't make those yearly road trips.
Yeah, and that's like with our dad's family, there was the 3 boys, 3 girls. Like I said, there was 2 before my dad. They the older brother stayed back, never left.
Yep.
And the older sister left because of marriage. My dad was a twin. He left and wanted to come back. And it seemed like
he moved to Ontario for work, basically.
Yeah.
But
then,
which is the modern day. If it was today, he would have ended up in Fort Mac, for instance.
Yeah. So he ended up in Kitchener, Ontario, because that's where some of the other family was. And then
Kitchener, Ontario always was, manufacturing hotbed, and there's always been an East Coast contingent there, little Cape Breton, if you will. Yeah,
and then your dad came up, lived with him for a little bit, and then was like, "Yeah, I'm staying here. I'm not going back." And so that's kind of like
basically, he lived with your dad. He lived with Joan briefly.
Yeah,
and possibly somebody else, like another sibling as well, briefly.
Yeah,
in that time before settling in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because so the 3 boys was like the one stayed, the one kind of left, and the other one was like, screw it. And then there was the 3 aunts that we had. The 2 of them married into the military and were gone, and the 3rd married someone else that went out west. So they were all out there. So we're kind of
married into Stelco.
Married into Stelco, yeah. So for me, this trip here was pretty pretty emotional. I'm actually even surprised I can talk about it here right now, but because I've had a couple issues in the morning. So this here is, I guess, my 19th Father's Day without him. With his passing coming up in October will be 20 years. So it's kind of really affected me here, just being here where he always wanted to be.
Right.
And it's on Father's Day. He never got the chance to come back to Newfoundland. Well, he never did come back, but just to come to Newfoundland to be with the family because he knew a lot of the people. So for me, it was kind of emotional
in a way.
Yeah, it's.
I get that. And I say I get that only because, like, I remember having a conversation. Not that my dad's passed away. But I remember having a conversation with my dad ages ago. You know, it's just one of those life lesson conversations that, our parents wouldn't talk about it often, but you get them in the right mood and generally with somebody else in the room, you know, 'cause then it's okay. Because otherwise we never talk about our feelings one-on-one type thing.
No.
Unless alcohol's involved. Which alcohol's involved. And he was just telling me, like, before he, settled down, got married, whatever, he had a checklist, I want to do this, and that. And he said the only thing he never got to do was go to California. So I was really happy the first time I managed to make it out to California, regardless of the reason to go, just the fact that I got to go to Southern California. Because, and I get it from the whole hot rodder and music thing, because that was the one option. Like, I'm going to go to California, I'm going to go to LA and make it big or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the one thing I've planned, I don't think, and I've never talked with you about it, and what I would love to do is for us to do a road trip, but not a southern road trip, an eastern road trip.
Right.
To come here, even to be Cape Breton or even to here, because you've never really got to experience that where the family all was, right? We've talked about your one excursion back here, down to Cape Breton, where it was.
I did a long weekend. I saw the highlights
for the reunion. That wasn't a reunion. That your father almost ended up with a hotel.
Yeah, that was like a 4-day weekend. But I got the highlights. I saw the Sydney Harbor. I saw Glace Bay. Oofta May. We didn't stop. I saw it as we drove through it, which I'm good. It's fucking Glace Bay. Went to Louisburg. I'm like, isn't it called Louisburg? That's what they told us in the books. They're like, fuck you, it's Louisburg. All right. Thanks. All right. Did that. And then went hung out at the cottage and watched Uncle Kenny get drunk.
Yeah.
While my dad played music. So I did it all, Doug.
But for me, I would like to kind of, because just for me, for showing you in that area is just, where they lived and kind of the hangout spots and that.
Dad drove around and he says he pointed out a few spots. I just remember going, wow, this place really reminds me of Belleville. Like a lot. It's same size, same topography for hills and stuff. Like, wow, this really reminds me of Belleville. Like, I really don't see the appreciation. I understand why you left, Dad. Kind of, though you raised me in the same fucking spot. So what the Thanks.
But it's but even coming here, it's kind of a thing, like, it's
the back in the roots tour.
And for anyone,
just grabbing some gravel off the Cape Breton coast. This is your roots. Yeah, I get it, Doug. No, this is your roots.
But it's like I even sent you some pictures. It feels like I'm like freaking way back. Every grocery store is a Dominion grocery store. And
I know. Yeah, he sent me photos, Dominion grocery stores. I'm like, geez, I haven't seen one of them since the 80s.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like
it still existed.
It was like a Northern Reflection store, and
I was like, what? Newfoundland is the land that time forgot. That's what I'm sensing here.
Yeah,
they probably still have video stores. You'll find a Blockbuster Video, I bet.
I don't know. There is a record store just down the street here on Duckweir Street. But, and a comic store, the old dingy comic store. But yeah, it's God love you if you freaking miss a turn because you're freaking add 10 minutes because it takes you the long way around. I was like, wow. And there was a couple times I was like, why didn't I just stop and turn around? Pull in someone's driveway, do the fucking 3-point turn, and away I go. And I was like, no, I'm taking the freaking scenic route. Hell, I missed a turn. I ended up on the same street like 4 freaking times.
Yeah, I get that. That's Kingston, the land of one-way streets.
No, that's shitty Hamilton.
That too. Then again, Kitchener-Waterloo can be a joy at times too. King East and West runs north and south, and King North and South runs east and west.
The street that goes all 4 directions.
All 4 directions, none of which at the right name for the right time. Like I say, King East and West runs north and south runs east and west. That makes no fucking sense. Makes my head hurt driving in that town.
Yeah. But
okay, bonkers. Sure. Go with that. Well, we're almost at the bottom of the hour. Trying to think, is there anything else we wanted to cover?
I don't know.
You folks have any other questions out there? Probably I missed everything. I don't know. I was kind of watching the chat, but not really. It happens. I'm not seeing anything. All right, that's fine. So, reminders, folks, I got Scott Brockaway 1 week from tonight and 2 weeks from tonight, July 2nd. My sister will be on for her birthday show, which it's not her birthday, but it's close to her birthday. It's close enough that she's going to take over because we're not doing a show on a Wednesday. No. Top artist on your playlist. I don't have playlists. I don't know. I'll just go deep dive on somebody every once in a while. Different people, different one.
Yeah, that's for me. It's all whenever it depends on my mood or where I'm at, geography wise or whatever.
Jay asks anyone here from River Docs who has one. Doc was in the chat last week here. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's put out a video this week, but he may have been traveling. I want to say for some reason. Don't know. Charles says, thanks for having Doug on. Great show. Charles is easily amused in life, clearly. So, yeah,
well, it's been a couple of weeks since you've been able to watch Down and Back, right? So I haven't.
Well, this is true.
The part-time job has kind of got in the way of the free job. But
the day job, though.
Yeah, hopefully there's only about 3 more years of that, and then I can
transition full-time into ACL commentary.
Yeah, I would say I really hated it. I had it all set. I had the chance today, but I totally forgot it. One of the guys, great guy down here, Derek Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
I was really set. I had it set, and I wanted to do it. And he finally got on the live feed, and I didn't. I wanted to say that, his name is Derek Barrett, and he affectionately calls his bags the privateers.
The privateers.
And then he lost the game, and I then later on forgot that I should have said that he wishes he was in Sherbrooke now, but especially being here. But
thanks again, Seth and Charles, for having me on their show today. If you haven't checked it out already, folks, check it out. It's fun. Guitar Safari. And, yeah.
Or for anyone, go over to the ACL Canada, so the American Cornhole League YouTube page. Check out all the ACL Canada videos from the live feeds. Give them a thumbs up and make a comment saying you love the commentary. That guy should be doing it all the time because it was me.
All Doug, all the time.
Yes.
All Doug, hashtag all Doug all the time.
Yes. Deserves to get paid. And
More.
Wally sucks. That would help me out.
Hashtag Wally sucks.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not really. Wally's an okay guy.
And if you're new here, please subscribe, especially if you've watched till the end of the show. Mazel.
Exactly. Because just riveting entertainment here.
Gripping, if you will. Which reminds me, I got to book some more guests coming up at some point. There we go. Hashtag all Doug all the time. Perfect. I don't know. Do we have anything else?
I don't think so. I think I'm.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a special Father's Day special. Sure. The new tradition going forward. What the fuck? So that means no more fishing trips on Father's Day, Doug.
I don't know. Those, I can call them assholes. I've been seeing them. I've been still in the group chat, and they're all showing all what they're caught in, and I'm just bomb up there.
But you wouldn't have the bandwidth to go live for Father's Day, though, up there, would you?
No, I'm way up north.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. So, your fans want you back next year.
I have a feeling that my fishing trip days for them, because they do it every Father's Day, I've got a feeling that I've found some stuff out here this weekend that might be doing this hotel gig a lot more in my future. So,
well, especially if they hold the tournament Father's Day weekend every year, right?
well, certainly that there may be more weekends or more hotels in my future.
Right.
So
we'll say in the chat, we still got 37 people watching. Type the number 1 in the chat if you want to see more Doug on the channel. As I see Richard's like, great hang tonight. Great to see Doug. See, there we go. Doug's got fans.
I do like every couple months I come on and
not as often as you used to.
no,
Because okay.
because you have regular guests.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and you no longer need me to sit in the.
That's a lot of ones all of a sudden. The chat.
And you don't need me to. Oh, Charles even did it twice.
Charles did it about 14 times, I think.
Shit, there goes my phone.
Eddie Van Haskell typed in 2.
But the reason, do you know why Eddie Van Haskell's got a number 2? Because he's got a freaking shitty thingy. Buffalo. Fucking Buffalo. I can't say much because I had a really good friend that actually flew down from Buffalo to play here this weekend, and the Cornell people are. We had a girl. So listen here, we had a girl play women's on Friday in the women's division. Drove from Chicago to Toronto overnight on Tuesday to Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning flew down here, played Wednesday night, Thursday night, and a fundraiser and a fun night. Played women's singles on the Friday afternoon. Hauled ass back to Toronto to drive back to Chicago. So she really only came here for one afternoon.
Wow. Oofda.
Because I think she thought she was going to be able to win and didn't come close. So
there we go.
That, and if you're in the Newfoundland area, make sure you watch the Here and Now tomorrow, because I could possibly be on the CBC tomorrow.
On the CBC.
Yes, I'm going right now. I'm going as the handler for the guy that we're having going on, but the other 2 people they wanted on don't want to go on and talk. We even had one guy who was just to talk into a mic for a guy on the website, and he was like, I don't know what to say. He's like, we're just going to ask you questions. Well, I don't know what to say. Answer the fucking questions.
It's not rocket surgery. Jesus Christ.
But,
believe it, they're going to be softball questions. What's a softball question? Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. On that note, he's been Doug. I've been Ben. You've been you. So that's how that works. Hold the doors open. Let Doug in ahead of you in traffic because he's got to touch base at home for at least, I don't know, a day or 2 before he's off on his next adventure. His wife's real.
She's in Port Huron, Michigan right now shopping.
There we go. Yeah, that makes sense. So that means your son is probably burning the house down.
No, he's actually with her. I've been told he may be asleep in the car. So
Well, that's about normal for him. Takes after his father. Fucker slept all the way to the causeway pretty much one trip.
It's because you took your dad like 32 minutes to get from Trenton to freaking the causeway with the way he drove. Holy Jesus.
Racer.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
See ya.
Don't litter. All that.